All right. On your break, be sure that you're not eating in the prep area. You don't think about it, but even if you're really good about not chewing with your mouth open, there's still that possibility of spray. Don't be chewing gum, those kinds of things. Your glasses need to have a straw and a lid, and you might say, well, why? Why is that important? I can do this, and my hands don't get anywhere near where my mouth was, right? But if I have a soda, can I borrow your soda? I promise not to touch the mouth of it. If I twist that cap off, there is a possibility that my hands touch where my mouth was, right? It's not as likely. You're not so likely to touch that, but it could happen. That's why we ask you to have a cup with a lid and a straw, okay? The lid is mainly so if it gets knocked over, it's not spilling all over the world. But we don't want that hand-to-mouth contact. You're running by, you're getting a drink. It's hot, you're working hard, you're sweating, and you need to go get a drink of water, right? But so you're not contaminating your hands that way.
But then you're supposed to wash your hands.
You are. You're still supposed to wash your hands afterwards. But the likelihood of contamination is even lower if you've got a lid and a straw on your cup, okay? And if you're smoking, please be sure that you're off campus and you're punched out. All right. If you're sick, we don't want you to share. Yes, I stress and I fuss and I push y'all all the time to come to work. But if you've got the stomach flu, please don't share it with me. Don't share it with your staff, because then I have to have more subs. And you may have worked in a restaurant before where they have said, oh, well, you've just got a mild fever, it's allergies. Go work in the dish room. We work with a high-risk population. Children are high risk. They're much more susceptible to being sick than adults. So that doesn't go in our kitchen. If you've got a sore throat, a fever, you're throwing up, any of those other things, please stay home. Please don't share that with us or with your coworkers, your manager. Okay? Foodborne illnesses, those are some of those big fat names that are not going to be on the test. But those are things that you may hear, and we're going to talk about one in particular because the health department says I have to. We don't have too much problem with it, but they say I have to. So, okay, so true or false? It's okay to work if you have a fever if you are not handling food. False. That's correct. All right, here's the one that they want us to talk about, hepatitis A. How many of you have heard news stories where it says if you've eaten at the Sonic on Boat Club Road, you need to go see your doctor because one of the employees is sick? Okay. You have to go get a big old hairy shot. Your family has to go get the big old hairy shot because they've been around you. That is not fun. This is the one that comes from not washing your hands after you go potty. Okay? Yeah, it's just gross. You wash your hands. That's just, we've been taught since we were little kids. You go to the bathroom, you wash your hands. But you hear about people with hepatitis A all the time. And you hear about foodborne illnesses from a restaurant all the time. And that's where it comes from, is not washing your hands. There is a question on the test, and I will tell you that jaundice is a symptom of hepatitis A. That's when you start to turn yellow. Okay? So remember jaundice. Okay? The other symptoms of hepatitis A are much like any other foodborne illness, fever, sick to your stomach, those kinds of things. So the jaundice is the one different symptom of hepatitis A. And it takes a little while before you get to that point. Pest control, we want them out of there. We don't want them in our kitchen. If you can see daylight under your back door when it's closed, you might want to point that out to your manager. We've had a couple of kitchens already this year with snakes. Yeah. One was in the washing machine and one was in the dish room. They weren't big snakes, but any snake is a bad snake, right? But that's how he got in. He can slither through that little hole in that door sweep. So can Mickey Mouse. And we don't want him in our kitchen either. How many of you had trouble with crickets and June bugs a few weeks ago? Have to crunch over them trying to get in the back door. They'll get in that way too. And once they find food and water, they're staying. So I know that you don't have a lot of control over the openings around the pipes. But if you notice something like that, be sure and let somebody know so we can get maintenance to come out and help us with that. Okay? Be sure you got your air curtain turned on. I don't like those things either. They blow my glasses off my head when I walk in the door. But they keep the bugs out. And there's a few schools I walk into, and every day I walk in there, I turn the switch back on because it's turned off. They're annoying. They're loud. The delivery drivers got the door open, bringing stuff back and forth. And it's annoying. But be sure they're on because it's blowing that stuff out. So, make sure there's not any open food. Sweeping and mopping is so important. Get that stuff up off the floors. Be sure you're taking out the garbage, that you're keeping the garbage cans clean. If your faucet's dripping, there again, let your manager know so we can call maintenance and get that fixed. Okay? Not only is it a waste of water, but it gives that Mickey Mouse a drink. Okay? Y'all know Mark, I'm sure. He comes out once a month and checks. If you have a problem, he's the guy that gets called. So he comes out and takes care of y'all as needed. So true or false? It's not necessary to sweep and mop every day. False. One other thing that I want to mention about this too is be sure you're not leaving water in your steam tables overnight. Even though it's clean, that's just giving the pests a place to find a drink of water too. They can smell it. So, and some of you don't have drains, and I know you're having to sop it out of there every night, but it's very, very important to get that water out of those steam tables at night because they do. That's when they come out. And if they smell water, they're going to make a home. Okay? Does this look like your kitchen? I don't care about your house. I hope this doesn't look like your kitchen. I haven't ever seen any of you in your heels. So I just don't get it. I go into restaurants and see these girls in these high heels waiting tables. I'm like, really? Yeah. I'd break my full neck. So she's got her bling on. She's got her Band-Aid on her wrist. Yeah, or two. Her mop's leaning up against the wall right next to the stove. Oh.
A hairbrush over the stove?
Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be. It does look like a hairbrush, doesn't it? She's got her. Yeah. Got her pans on the floor, face down or top down. So. Yeah. And something else leaking out of the drawer too. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't look good. So I don't want to eat there. I hope y'all don't either. Do y'all have any questions before we go on to the test? I hope to get y'all out of here at a decent time. So, okay, the test is all true, false, or multiple choice. Do your best.